I don't know if I'm changing over. In the moonlight I can't kill this feeling sober, so I start to come alive. I don't know what starts to control me. I let it go, another soul that's underneath. I don't really care about this all. It's the fall that kills me. With our back against the wall, just feed the beast and you'll see. Wait for me. I don't wanna die inside my reality. Wait for me. I don't want your mind to remember me.
I'm gonna be taking the front bumper off of this thing, and if you guys don't have some of these Lyle W86561 pliers for these Honda clips, you need to get a pair. They are an absolute lifesaver. I normally try and hit these with some WD-40, but you don't necessarily have to, and it gets them out without snapping them into a million pieces like what you normally do with a flathead. Honestly, that was far easier than I ever imagined. Okay, so some time has passed, but I wasn't going to bore you with all of the removal stuff, but I ended up loosening the front core support a little bit. It's got all the wiring and stuff kind of holding it in still, but it was just enough movement to where I could get down in there. If you can see it right there, I could loosen up the original hoses that bolt to the compressor itself. I got all this stuff out. We pulled the condenser, it's completely gone. We got the high side line, and most importantly, the entire reason for all this, we got the low side line out. The hardest part was removing the combination high side and low side line from the firewall and then pulling it out. You have to pull it out this way, and you will bend the lines a little bit. We didn't end up kinking any of these lines, but it's this guy right here. This is the most difficult thing to remove. I did notice this. I thought this was part of the AC system. Turns out it's part of the power steering system. The intercooler is not going to fit with this, so I'm going to have to do something different here. I'm just not sure what that is yet, but this is something we're going to be tackling before IA2, because I'm just going to go ahead and knock this out. I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to do it, and we'll figure out how to shorten this up, and hopefully it won't cause any trouble. I'm thinking with my luck it will. Anyway, I'm going to figure out the rest of the fittings. I'm going to start with the compressor stuff and the firewall, and then work our way together to the center. We've got the two holes drilled, and I hit them with some Nighthawk Black Pearl paint. So it would look really good to clean all this up and do that to the whole thing. But we're going to let this dry for a few minutes, so that way we can put the grommets in, so we can run our lines. You can see right back off in there, we've got the connections all prepped and ready for the new hoses. All right guys, so I'm gonna have to call it quits for the day. We made really good progress. We got all the old crap out of the car, low pressure, high pressure lines, cleaned up the bay, and we've got the AC tuck kit going. I've kind of got all the lines mocked up and how they're gonna end up being. I'm gonna have to trim this a little bit in order to get this one to fit. Some people get them to fit no problem. I did not have such luck. I'm gonna have to fab up my own bracketry. I haven't necessarily seen someone install one of these before, but there's a mounting hole here from the original, and then there's a bunch of threaded holes all over this thing. So I'm going to get like a piece of aluminum, get some grommets, and make that nice, because right now it's just loosey-goosey in there, so I don't want that. So we're making good headway. All right, so it is tomorrow, and this is no longer loosey-goosey because I have a zip tie on it. As you guys can see, I ditched the factory bash bar for my DC5 Creations bash bar. I'm putting this in there because I didn't want to trim up that bash bar. I just didn't want to do it. I hate doing stuff like that. I hate cutting up the car in its factory state and everything like that. Like I like stuff that doesn't bother me is stuff that benefits the car in a way of either cleaning it up in a non-intrusive way, or a performance modification where trimming of the car or something like that has to be done and there's no way around it. I just didn't want to have to do that, even though it won't be on the car anymore. This is what I already had this. I've had this for months now, and this is just something I was, you know, gonna have to do anyway, because intercooler, right? So this doesn't fit perfectly. I'm gonna have to do something, but I do believe, hopefully, that the intercooler will clear, because I am running AC in this car come hell or high water. That is happening. So so that's going to happen. I've got to have this bash bar on here, so everything's going to look really nice and function really nice, I hope, and we're going to get it figured out. I have some I've come up with an idea for the bracketry. So this condenser is obviously, well, it may not be obvious to some, but this condenser is larger than a factory condenser, because this is a condenser out of a 2007 Civic Si. It's got the desiccant here on the side, so it gets rid of the dryer completely, so it's an all-in-one package. It's physically larger, and you do have to charge it a little bit more than factory. Factory is somewhere over here, and its factory minimum is 16.7 ounces, max is 19.4 ounces. You need somewhere around 20, I think. I think that 19.4 would actually be okay, but I think it's somewhere between 19 and like 21 or 22 or something like that. So 20 is a good rule of thumb, 20 ounces of Freon. So it's coming along. It's coming along great. And like I said, since this is out of a Civic, the brackets I'm going to end up using, I'm going to get brackets off of a Civic. I've got a guy looking for me some right now. I should have them by the end of the day, and we'll be able to get that installed. I'm gonna obviously have to modify them, but I'll be able to use these factory mounting locations, and it'll have rubber grommets on it, and it'll be, you know, it won't vibrate and be hard mounted. It'll be real clean and real nice. So like I said, doing stuff to the car for its benefit doesn't bother me as much, especially if you can't really see it and it doesn't really damage the structural integrity. So what we've done here is, instead of using the self tappers that DC5 Creations gives you with the kit, I just think I like this kit so far. I do. It's kind of finicky, but that's just the territory with tucked anything. You just got to do a good bit of modifications to stuff. That's just part of it. But self-tapping screws, I draw the line. That's a no for me. Like I would not do that. I think that's a bad idea. It's just going to cause rust. They're going to rust off and fall off eventually. It's just not a good idea. So instead, what we did was we drilled holes and put rib nuts in the holes. So now everything is nice and secured by actual bolts. We do have the familiar zip tie here and there, and we've got to do something with this guy. We just got to get it tucked up in there real nice and clean. But overall, the majority of the install is done. As you can see, I bought a brand new sensor. I wasn't going to put the almost 20-year-old sensor back in. I just left it in the dryer. I extended the wires very nicely, and they run all the way through here, like so. Comes in through right here, and it's tucked in here, and it's connected to the factory wires perfectly, and you can barely even tell it's in there. Once the car is all buttoned back up, you really won't be able to tell at all. So we are going to continue getting everything installed today. I'm going to get this installed. It's going to take a little bit of finicking, but I'm going to get it done, and then we can take the car to my AC guy and get it vacuum tested and charged up, and hopefully the AC will not give us any more issues. So here's hoping. Let's get this finished up. Also, something that I haven't really talked about on here, you may have seen it in the video at some point or another, but you may have noticed that the driver's seat here has not been installed in the car for a couple of days. What happened was, I was driving and my seat rails just fell apart. I'll insert a clip of what happened here. So I was driving down the road and I hit my brakes and my seat slammed forward like it wasn't locking. And so I moved it back and I pushed the slider down and it seemed to be okay. But if I were to move in my seat at all or anything, like the chair just was not locking in position like it normally does. I literally have no idea what happened. I got back home and I found these laying in the floorboard behind it. And I also found these little like rivet pin things. There's a couple of them here. And this was popped off or something, part of the plastic that goes in the rail. So I really don't know what happened. I can't understand how this stuff just falls out of the chair. But yeah, I mean, that's what happened. And as far as I know, it's not fixable. I mean, maybe somebody could fix it, but this is out of my wheelhouse for sure. And so, yeah, weird that happened. I really don't understand it. I really don't. And I searched the forums up and down, left and right, for days trying to find someone else that had the same issue. I found 2 posts from 15 years ago where people had similar issues, but it's just odd. It's just not something you normally see. And so I got a reupholstery shop, and they didn't have to do any reupholstery work. He just moved the rails from one of my bad looking seats, but it had good rails, to my good looking seat that had bad rails. He just did a rail swap on it, and I got the seat back in the car, and it's drivable now. And so that's awesome. I'm super stoked about that. So let's move on. All right, guys, I just wanted to get one last good film of this. So we came in here and we drilled these holes right here. And I used a step drill bit or a Christmas tree bit, whatever you want to call it, and I used the biggest one I had, and I went all the way through, literally all the way through, and it made perfect cuts. The grommets fit perfect, and we got everything hooked up to the firewall back there. Came up through here, 2 riv nuts. We removed this wire completely and ran it in a different direction so that way it wouldn't kink up or get rubbed or anything weird. Couple zip ties, familiarize yourself with that. Then we've got the wire extension, the pressure switch, the joint for that. These are all connected. Then your low pressure line comes in here, up under here where the headlight is. And then I've just got the high pressure line zip tied here. That should be fine. It's got a lot of wiggle room, so that shouldn't go anywhere. And the low pressure line comes around this way, past the horn, and over this other connection, and it connects to the base of the AC condenser here. This line connects from the AC condenser, and it goes in here, and it connects to the AC compressor on that side, and this big low pressure line connects to the connector on the left if you're looking at it from this direction. All the lines are tight, everything's hooked up, so we officially, once we get brackets to secure this, we can charge the system, put a vacuum on it, make sure there's no leaks. Again, make sure you oil every single O-ring before you put everything together. And that's the next step we're going to take. So I just wanted to show you guys that before I potentially throw this fender back on. Go as far as you can. I mean, the gap is that. Go back the other way. Nice. Go ahead and start the car, and we'll see if power steering actually works.
Let me know if I blow the line.
Working? Okay. Go back and forth a few times. Okay. See, I don't think we explained this in the video, but we shortened this line up a ton. The original line looks like this. And I don't see turbo guys running this line much, but basically this line would sit right here in front of the cooler and everything, and the condenser, and it'd be in the way of the intercooler, so we just deleted it. That's the hardest the power steering will ever have to work, just sitting here turning it.
Dude, I think it feels better.
You think it feels better?
Yeah.
It does feel good.
Well, yeah, I think it feels better.
Interesting.
It feels like a lot more consistent.
Oh, I missed this car. She's filthy. but let's go for a ride. Let's tidy up. We need to zip tie this because that's gonna be no bueno.
Later that same evening.
All right, you guys, we have finally got the AC in, all the tuck kit charged up and everything, and it's working fantastic. And before we wrap up the day, because I'm almost out of light, before we wrap up the day, we are swapping out these old OEM original headlights that came on the car with these brand new units from Honda. Man, you can see me in them. They are perfect, absolutely perfect. I love them. So that's going to be it for today. We will catch up with you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, so I'm out here at the junkyard today, and I'm just trying to get some parts for the RSX, and I need a couple of Civic parts because my AC condenser is off of a Civic now, and I'm just trying to get these condenser brackets, and I don't have a wheelbarrow or tools or nothing. And thank God for this HKS 10mm keychain. Honestly, like, that is saving my butt right now so I can get parts that I need. Just thought that was cool. Wanted to show you guys. So the last time I left you off, I think we were doing something with the AC tuck kit. Not entirely sure, but I think I have figured out something that may help you guys out in the future. So this guy right here, this is the factory AC switch plug that would have went on the factory dryer, and it would have been located somewhere down in there at some point. You know, that's where the that's where the factory dryer was, and the wiring is right up in here that I've spliced in for the DC5 Creations AC tuck kit. Well, I was going to Import Alliance with my friends one day. This was, gosh, 6-7 years ago now, and my AC went out, and I've been trying to fix it ever since. Put in a new AC condenser fan. Now we have all this new equipment in here. We've got the Civic SI condenser and all this stuff. Well, I got it charged, and you know, I've got the car tore apart, and I was able to look up under here and see that the compressor clutch was not engaging. Long story short, ended up messing around with this, and I pressed against the plug like this. I thought maybe, oh, maybe I just did a, you know, bad wiring or something like that. No, I pushed the back of the plug, and the clutch kicked on the compressor immediately. So I hopped on eBay, bought a brand new plug. It was like, you know, 15 bucks or so. It's not a Honda plug because I didn't want to, I wanted to go with factory, but you can't buy them from Honda. At least, you know, I made a few calls, and no one could seem to find it for me. And so you can go to a junkyard and cut one out of maybe a CRV or an Accord or something from the same kind of years, like mid 2000s, early 2000s. Didn't want to do that because, you know, it's factory Honda that failed me. So I went with a brand new plug, picked that up, wired it in, not having that issue anymore.
With the AC system now functioning properly, we are going to move on to fabricating our brand new AC condenser brackets.
It rained for like 13 seconds. How did my car get this nasty?
Right?
I'm kind of concerned about the rain. Because like my Starlink thing is dirty.
Man, this is gonna hurt.
Just don't think about it.
Wes, is that straight?
Pain is
Temporary.
Yep.
Is that straight?
Yes, sir.
Not always.
Go. I should not have wore pants.
Where can I paint this at?
Wherever you want to.
Perfect.
That's better than whenever I came off the assembly line.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's no Honda black.
I mean, no, like, honestly though, someone looking at this, you may not even notice it's not supposed to be there.
You should spray paint that one and it'll be good.
You think I should?
Almost.
Should I?
I would have done them in Nighthawk like Pearl.
But you would have painted them is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have that. We have black enamel or something for a motor that I bought 10 years ago.
At least the brackets come in and out easily.
Yep, just like they were supposed to from the factory.
Thank you. Don't lose that. Oh. What do you mean?
Does it have a front pedal pad?
What?
And with the AC condenser brackets welded, that is going to wrap up this portion of our Import Alliance prep for the RSX. Obviously, there's a lot that we didn't get to show because of time constraints and other factors, but a few of the other things that we did to the car before Import Alliance was I restored the windshield trim. We installed a used hood that we cut to install brand new arrow catch hood pins. That way we could mitigate the hood flying up issue that some RSXs have. I plan to go over that in a future video, so stay tuned for that. We put in a brand new air filter. I installed brand new speakers in the rear because the ones that we had were blown. We stopped a lot of the rattles that were going on in the car. We did an oil change and we washed the car. Oh, and one last thing. We also installed Integra Type R brake ducts, and you'll see how we installed those in the next video. Take care, you guys.